We're on. Hey everybody, what's up? What's good? This is your favorite, well, one of your favorite gardeners. I hope you have a lot of gardeners and farmers in your life. This is Taylor Lindsay, and welcome to another gracious episode of the PPP Plant Pug. Sorry, that's my homegirl. She does this whole thing about plant pugs. Plant Plug podcast. I have one of my favorite people here today with me. This is Nicole, everybody, from the Hoodfairy, the Hoodfairy Co. Trap Zumba. Also, you can be seen on Insecure. Has a food workshop with Hank's Mini Market, as well as your daughter Carter. Also has a book club. What else you got going on?
I don't even know. I have a teenager somewhere around here.
Yes.
A husband who be out here doing stuff. The Social Justice Learning Institute. You know that one.
Yes, I think I forgot some things. And the Learning Center also has a garden.
We do.
Yes, and what's the name of that garden?
That's Queen Park Learning Garden.
Hey, in Inglewood, right? Inglewood up to all good.
Up to all the good.
All the good, right? I don't know what you've been told, but Inglewood is up to all the good these days, and also that rent is up.
Yes.
Anyways, can I get a house? But yes, everybody, let's welcome Nicole.
Thank
yes,
you.
yes,
Thanks
claps,
for having
small
me.
claps. Thank you for being on and for coming all the way through that LA traffic.
Yeah, I was nervous. I saw the produce district, which I'm familiar with. I
Right.
was like, where am I going? But here we are. This is really nice.
Yes, it is. And if you go further in between, on the other side of Alameda, there is a ton of studios and a ton of art.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you know the Earth Cafe is over here?
I didn't realize.
I only knew about the Beverly Hills one.
Okay.
I was just like, I don't feel
I
invited.
know about the one in LAX.
Mm.
Something in the airport.
Right. And it's so funny because it's a place to be. So like on my way over here, I almost ran over a couple of influencers.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, they're fine.
Okay.
They're fine. They just need to not walk in the street. And I'm not anti-influencer because there's some really amazing people that are doing some really incredible things. Like on my other episode, I had Dr. Robin, who you got to meet.
Yeah.
Did she not have a beautiful aura?
She really did.
And by the way, yours is too. Yours is a
Oh,
vibrant
thank you.
rainbow prism that just
Birds of a feather.
yes. You just seem like a person that always smells good.
Thank you. I mean, I try. I hope so.
Some people just got it like that. So, what's good with you right now? Like, what's your main focus as of right now? And also, yeah, we'll get into other things you're doing too. But
Okay.
what's your main focus? Like, what's your forefront?
My forefront, that's a good way to put it. My forefront right now is food rescue and distribution.
Okay.
So because of it was exacerbated by the pandemic. These are issues that our communities have been having historically for a very long time, but people don't have access to good food.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the loss of jobs and the loss of people, it was really difficult to be able to get good food. So we wanted to make sure that the access was available. So we expanded our food work. And when I say we, I mean the Social Justice Learning Institute. We expanded our food work to happen way more often. So on a weekly basis, we're coming and getting produce from not far from here that otherwise would just be thrown away.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it over into the community, grab some volunteers, sort it, bag it, give it out, so that people can have access to healthy food on a regular basis.
Right on. So I've seen you at every giveaway lately when it
Yeah.
comes to produce
Feels like
giveaways.
it.
And I'm only familiar with like Food Forward. So who else do you work with?
So we work with Food Forward, but then we have a big old truck. Shout out to Paul, who drives the big truck. Her name is Bertha. We deliver food to clinics. We deliver food to schools. We deliver food to libraries. Any place where people will have us
Okay.
that need access to food. Sometimes we just deliver the food, and that organization will bag it up and sort it out. Sometimes it's us. A lot of times it's us, and we, set up our tents and tables, turn on the music, have a big old party, and then people can come and party with us and take home some fruits and veggies.
I need to come to more of your parties though.
It's up that
Like
fun.
it just seems like such a ball. Like what you remind me of too is just like this grassroots philanthropy. And for people that aren't familiar, philanthropy are people who just give stuff away. But my former association with philanthropy was people that had it.
Mhm.
Like you were the silent auction bidder and you were a billionaire, half a billionaire, and like you buy a wing at a hospital. Whereas you can give back at any level.
Absolutely.
And also you can establish give relationships, especially with something as crucial as food. Yes, like, and just reestablish that connection to real food. I don't really like saying whole food anymore because it's a brand name now. But just like, I just applaud you for the type of work and effort you do. And I remember seeing one time you were actually serving deep into the COVID shutdown. Cars lined up all the way down the street, and you were just throwing those boxes, not like literally throwing them, but you were hucking and bucking them boxes and those bags and just really getting it going and keeping that livelihood and keeping that vibrant. And I highly, highly commend you for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Especially as a wife and a mother and a family person. And it's a lot of hats to wear.
It is. I just think it's really important that our neighbors know that this is not charity. Like, we're serving each other. We're here together.
Right.
Put a smile on my face and your face, and let's just, give each other the things we need. So.
It's mutual aid. And also, it's funny. I remember there were a lot of trends that came of the shutdown that I really, really, really wish would go away. But there were some that were hilarious. Like, remember the reparation Venmos? Were you getting those?
Oh, no. There we go.
I got 2 of those.
That's not
Yeah,
nice.
I got 2 reparation Venmos. And then also, what was it? Mutual aid being what it is, and also we used to say solidarity, not charity, and also having that connection and that resource. And the thing about keeping those resources ongoing, it's one thing if I do a fundraiser or a giveaway. By the way, a lot of fundraisers are foul. A lot of them really are, but we're literally cutting out the middleman, and that doesn't just include.
It's trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to do so much editing now. 3, 2, 1. That doesn't include just giving out food that has already been grown, but that also includes the connection of gardening, which you also do. And I remember you were one of my earliest supporters, which I really, really appreciate. I felt kind of bad because I feel like I wasn't getting out enough to you, but I feel like I'll explain that in a second.
Okay.
That's part of being an entrepreneur. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But because it was just a deadline that nobody was making but myself, right? It was a question that nobody else was asking but me. So we'll talk about that in a second. But also, you gave me so many seeds and cuttings. And I remember you gave me like 4 aloe vera, and I turned it into about 50, and I still have it to this day.
That's what I like to hear.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about in my Jill Scott voice. You remember that? Yeah. Shout out to Jill Scott.
Shout out to Jelly.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what you ultimately were doing, and that's what I want to create and also continue. And that's what brings the care into the things that we do. Now, moving forward, so we're talking about the Queens Park Learning Garden, which you have a lot of events at. You compost, you have worm farming.
A little bit, yeah.
The children get dirty. Let the kids play in the dirt. I know you gotta wash them later and hose them down, but let them get in there.
Absolutely.
Don't wear your good shoes. Though I was teaching some kids the other day, and they wore their good shoes. I was like, oh my god! But it's not it wasn't their fault. They're like, hey, they call me either Miss Taylor or Plant Lady. They're like, hey, Plant Lady. My mom's gonna be mad. And I looked down like, you wearing Air Forces? Yeah. You got Jordan 3s? Okay, first of all, where do you get those from?
Right.
So, sorry. So like you're saying, with the children, like always have the bags.
Yep, plastic bags and some just go to Staples. No promo for them. Just somewhere to get you a bag of rubber bands.
Okay.
And you can create a little shoe cover.
Got it. Like, I'm gonna put that in my bag now from now on. I love teaching the children. My favorites have been the 11 and unders, and the 14 and olders. I'm sorry, 11 to 13 is hard. 11, 13, it's really hard. I have to understand the children are still developing. You know, our brains don't develop till we're 25. But they are onto some things, and I know I was like that. I know how I was. I couldn't wait for mom to leave the room so I can curse. You know, or somebody's mom might get cursed out. I don't know. I would say I was bad, but I would say I wasn't.
You were 11 to 13.
You already know. Yeah, so just a continuation of just that cycle of, okay, you are doing all this. You are a walking ecosystem. You're providing the seeds. You have the Queen Park Learning Garden. You have the compost. You teach people how. You give them a resource on where they can pick up food because they already know that. And you're also, you're in connection with Prosperity Market too? Yes,
Yeah.
you work with them?
Those are my
Oh,
friends,
I
yeah.
love Carmen and Cara. I
They're
love
wonderful.
me some Carmen and Cara.
I really like what they're doing. So
Yes.
I'm rooting for them big time.
Always. And the event is tomorrow.
Yeah, they come to SJLI when they have their events to bag up bags of produce to give away. So yeah, it's really wonderful.
Oh, I'm so happy for that. And it's one of my favorite markets. I've met so many incredible people there. Not just the vendors, but also the customers that come through too. They got it going on too. I had Kush on here the other day. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he bought a plant for me. It was my first time doing Prosperity, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm a cameraman." I'm like, "Oh," and he's like, "Can I work with you?" I'm like, "What?" Like, it just does phenomenal work. He's one of my favorite people too, and that's what we get to do. You know, that's what we get to do. And speaking of getting to do, that's what I really wanted to talk about. I'm gonna take these. I can't take this. I really can't. I'm trying to be aesthetic. I'm not the aesthetic. You already know I'm not the aesthetic person. I do dirt. I'm really trying. Entrepreneurship and what it looks like today. Because back in the day, our parents and our parents' parents were able to have that one little business and that one job, be able to have a house and have a home. And also, or run that, have that business that stayed in the family. And I don't want to really get into so much generational wealth because we do know to certain systems that wasn't available for us. But we have seen some family and some friends, some neighbors be able to maintain and sustain. Like my parents were able to get a house with a sole income from each of them, whereas me, not so much.
Yeah.
So when I said earlier about I felt like I wasn't providing enough, as one of my first clients, I found out there's this thing called Entrepreneurial Depression. Yes, we shall explore that. And what that looks like is also it's a byproduct of capitalism, white supremacy, which always pops up in any problems you have, as well as wage gap issues based on gender and ethnicity, also lack of generational wealth, and our favorite, Impostor Syndrome.
Oh yeah.
Impostor Syndrome.
Right.
So when I was telling you that, I don't really discuss that so much on my forefront of my page, on my Instagram. I'm so rich. I don't really talk about that at the forefront, but when it comes to the things as far as like I do business coaching, I think that's a big part to do with it. That we're not getting from these motivators, these content creators, though their information is just as valuable as anybody else's sometimes, they don't talk about that so much. They might not even be aware of it, which is fine.
Because
so
I wasn't. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but that weight of the world, or not doing enough, not believing in your own products and your own abilities. You're either providing a good or a service. So in 2020, I was going through it. Yeah. Even though I really wanted to bring Plant Plug to the people, I was just like, yikes! Like it was hard. I had some days that I just didn't want to get out of bed over a business. A business that now is just, it's a beautiful thing. It is. I got to meet you. But have you ever found yourself in those places, especially, and you also have trap Zumba going on too, where you do Zumba to trap music.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I guess just a bit of background. I do run 2 of my own businesses. Well, it's all under one man, so Hoodfairy Company.
Okay.
Which is an apothecary, I guess a wellness company. I don't even know. That just aims to kind of decolonize the ways in which we heal ourselves and treat ourselves, the way we move our bodies, things like that. So I create herbal products with ancestral practices that our people would have been using on this land to heal each other and themselves. And then we do movement as well. So that's Trap Zumba. I feel imposter syndrome often. I think I talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago. I know that the things that I provide are worth it. I know that they're worthy because they healed my family, and that's why I wanted to share them with other people. And they make me happy, that's why I want to share them with other people. But sometimes it's just like, oh, well, my labels aren't good enough, or I can't find the right supplier for this. I haven't sealed this down, and I haven't figured this out.
Right.
And it's like, do I stop? Is it worth it? I can't even get it right. So that toys with me often. Instagram has also been very frustrating for me, not in that I haven't run into issues with feeling as though my product or my stuff isn't getting out there. It's this pressure to be creating content. I ain't got it.
Right.
I joined Instagram a long time ago just to share the things that I see in the world, and then it turned into, well, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday you should have this and these color schemes, and it just turned into a lot.
Did you know that's all a lie though? I found out.
I'm happy.
Yeah. That is all a lie. I know exactly how you feel, and I've been increasingly frustrated with that. And I'm just making. I've been getting on multiple platforms, and not to say Instagram isn't a useful tool, but I think it just got really out of hand.
Yeah.
And especially for small creators, smaller pages, people in the same boat as you and I, even the guests I've had on previously, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly what the reasons are that our content doesn't get seen, but the pressure and the anxiety to not only make constant content, but also create that polished look, it ain't worth it.
It's
It's not worth it, and it ain't nothing. And then also digital media creation and all that. 'Cause I do that. I do that on my Taylor Lindsay 323 page. I studied it, and also there's a free course on Google where you can get certified. I tell people about it all the time on Google Digital Garage, and you can put it on your resume. Those people don't come cheap.
Yeah.
The median is $50,000 a year. Do you have $50,000 to give me? You know, I offered to do it for somebody for $1,200, and they're like, no, it's too high. I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute. But nonetheless, I was like, I was going through it. I'm like, I knew that was too. I was like, no. But after I thought about it, I pulled away from it. I'm like, am I prepared to take on another career?
Right.
You know, doing that too. But I was like, you know what makes it fun? When we make it for the community.
Yeah.
And we make it accessible. We make it low cost.
Exactly.
And not pander to that polished look and that pristine perfection, because all of that is laden in capitalism, and it's just it's overwhelming.
Yeah, and I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, good, you can cut me off. You can cut me off all you want. Go ahead. I'll be here.
I think for me, I had to come to kind of a renaissance in that way, because when I started doing these things, that's what it was. It was people that I know who I know are suffering from eczema, or, you know, they're not comfortable with taking certain medicines, so let's try these herbs that, you know, the granny woman down the block used to do.
Right.
But then it turned into, oh my God, this could be big.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into this pressure. And it's like, I need to get back to doing it for the reasons that I intended to in the first place. And that's going to carry me exactly where I need it to.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't want to say that I've scaled down or scaled back, because I haven't. But I've readjusted my expectations for what I'm doing and my intentions for it. And it feels a lot better.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's such a relief too. I've been saying this, I took that leap of faith where I've been so used to working 2 or 3 jobs for other people for the last 3 or 4 years, and I quit everything to do what I'm doing. And it's so weird to have a better relationship with self-imposed pressure and deadlines. But I would be getting it from somebody else for way less money anyways, and I wouldn't have that same connection.
Right.
But I take all the flack for corporate.
Right.
Where I'm corporate.
Right.
I'm corporate. You were talking manager, I'm a manager. And then, but there's not, and how people approach me is a lot different than when I'm behind a desk for somebody else. And the scale back doesn't happen, but things get bigger too. I wouldn't say without us having to try, with more so of all the trudging that we did in the thick of it in the beginning, starts to not necessarily get easier, but more familiar. And there's more of a comfort to that.
Yeah.
And then we're greasing the tracks with whatever we got going on. I think it's all the glory from God. If you ask me, I'm like, I'm awake, I'm out of bed, I brushed my teeth today. Ooh, we're on a good one right now. With Reddy's energy. And then next thing you know, you're doing the trap Zumba. You're doing the episode of Insecure. I saw you.
You did.
I saw you.
There's magic in that consistency.
Yeah. Episode of Insecure. Hello.
Yes. I
Catch her on HBO.
Not this season.
No, last season.
Last season.
Still, that's amazing. People have to binge. They're binging. They're binging right now. Yeah. So they're gonna see you while they're catching up.
I hope so. That was a really wonderful experience. We used to do a farmers market in Inglewood. It was the first one, the only one. We accepted EBT and SNAP. It was really an honor to do, but now that with all the development that's happening in the city, they were like, oh yeah, we don't have space for you small people right now.
No.
So it shut down. But Issa was looking to create a farmer's market and was like, well, where are there some black farmers markets? And I guess we came up somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So she asked us to kind of curate with
Right.
the vendors. So we were able to call all of our friends that no longer are able to come and do the farmers market and say, hey, want to be on Insecure? And so that was a really wonderful experience to be able to do it. And I got to feature my business. So
Yeah, right on. I know, it's so exciting, but that's the thing. I tell people all the time, our job isn't so much to wait for people to call us.
Mhm.
It's more so just be ready for if and when they do, as well as I was so crazy about creating these opportunities for myself, and that was exhausting me. It was just like, I'm just gonna keep making things that make me happy consistently, even though they wear me out. And then it shows up. Like, you remember Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Not everybody's invited though. I don't want you all in my house. And, you know, that's another thing I had to learn to do too, is if you're not a no person, you better become one.
Yeah, I'm working on that right as we speak.
Yeah.
I really am. And I think that kind of goes along with that imposter syndrome a little bit too. You end up saying yes to a whole bunch of things. It's like, oh, this is an opportunity. Oh, this. But it's like, you're going to drain yourself, and you're going to put yourself in some positions that you may not want to be in, and make connections that are not always good for you. So you're absolutely right.
That's where I'm at right now. Just saying no to so many things. Whatever is supposed to be will be. My friend had to remind me, Taylor, remember that free work is still work, and you will see people's true colors when you ask for compensation. You know, and I've been very disappointed, but also I've been more so surprised, blessed, and gifted with things than the disappointments. They're becoming far and few between. Where I was at first, I was like, I just always feel like I'm on fire. Yeah, and just, you know what, bowing out of things gracefully. And then also they reemerge. Like, I wanted to do every farmer's market. I wanted to do every pop-up that was offered to me when earlier this year when we started to kind of reopen the streets. And I just found out how exhausting it was. And also I found out every pop-up was not popping. Every pop-up was not popping. That's why I'm so grateful for Prosperity Market. It's always popping. It's always a good time. And it showed me how much I can enjoy myself as a business owner. And also, it's not always about sales. I'm telling you, sales is like 10% of it. But just the marketing, the branding, trying to make sure that we're good health-wise, immunity-wise, mentally, physically, still loved and be loved. Gotta eat. Don't forget to eat. Yeah.
Eat well.
Yeah, and then exercise. It can be a lot, but then, like I said, it doesn't necessarily get easy, but it is worth it. Oh my God, it's so worth it. Like, and I'm still in disbelief, like, especially when you get to a point where your endeavors are providing your basic needs for you. That is such a blessing.
That's it,
right? Like, you ain't gonna borrow no money. You don't need no cash on demand. You don't need to call JP Morgan or whoever it is to try to get that settlement. You can literally be like, hey, that's another thing about small business too. Somebody bought something from me the other day. I'm like, great, now I get to keep my phone on another month. Like, I'm not hurting, but I'm just in a place where I'm just like, y'all, like, this is literally where it goes. This is literally where it goes. Like, you know, and then we have a podcast. Now we have a podcast, and we keep it for the people, by the people. And another thing that I want to ask you, tell me more about your connection with Hanks and how your daughter has a book club. You have 2 daughters.
2 kids.
And your youngest has a book club.
She does. So Hanks Mini Market, we came across when Kelly, who's the owner, had started working with the LA Food Policy Council and Sweet Green to just make some changes in the store. Hanks has been in the community for a very long time. My father owned it. He owns that space, and it's, you know, just your kind of corner store, convenience store in the community. But she wanted to make it better than that. She wanted to make it a place where people felt welcomed, a place where people felt that they could come for all their favorite things, as well as some healthy foods too. And we don't see that a lot in our kind of local liquor and corner stores. She wanted to make it a place that reflected her love for art, and just, you know, an oasis in the middle of the community. And so we got introduced when she was first doing that work, and then Kelly and I kind of just became fast friends. Her community focus and just her love for art and people has been amazing. So as JLI was able to do community, like, healthy nutrition lifestyle workshops there, that would allow people to learn about Hanks and what they offer, but also learn about, just healthy changes that they can make in their life that are very tangible for people like us in the hood, stuff that makes sense. We're not going and buying, 5 pounds of kale, but, if I'm going to be making ramen noodles because that makes sense for my household,
right.
Let me get some of these frozen vegetables
and throw it in. Kale in ramen is the bomb.
Yeah.
It's the perfect texture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just different things like that. Learning about sugar and salt and stuff like that. And then just being able to be involved in all of the different kind of things that Kelly does for the community has been really fun. So through that, my youngest daughter, Carter, she kind of took a liking to the space because it's a beautiful space.
It is gorgeous.
It's a beautiful space. And when the pandemic hit, Kelly was interested in, just continuing to do community-centered things, even though they're virtual. So Carter's book club came about.
Oh, it popped off virtually.
Okay. Carter has a little YouTube channel. She thinks that she's famous, and I'll let her have it.
Hey, those toy videos pay. Is she doing toy reviews?
She's not. We haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay, those kids be making $5 million.
Making bank.
Oh yeah.
But she enjoys just sharing the things that she does.
Yeah.
So yeah, every fourth.
Where can we catch her YouTube channel?
Carter Does It.
Oh, it's the whole.
Carter
Okay.
Does It. Just look for Carter Does It.
Carter with the C. Okay.
Carter with the C. And every fourth Sunday on the Hanks Live and on her Instagram, Carter's Instagram, we do a book club. So we sit down, we read, we have a dance party, we talk to participants, and just it's a good time.
That is absolutely darling. Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of her.
Yes.
She gets on that camera and she does her thing, and I'm not mad.
Right. We're gonna do those $5 million. You better review this toy. You better review that book.
Let's get your savings popping off.
Yeah, let's get it popping. Let's get her that little IRA. Let's get that
that
custodial account. That's good.
All of that.
Yes. Get her some Roblox stock.
You know what she asked for Christmas? Bitcoin.
No way.
I'm not mad. I said okay.
Well, she getting half of a
Yeah,
half of a
yeah,
half of a
something.
half.
She gonna get something.
Right. That is so cute though. They have sushi swap coin too.
What is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's like I have to say I'm not a financial professional. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. We stay with the disclaimer. But when it comes to crypto, I had the joy of through Compton's Girls Club teaching teenagers during the pandemic.
That's dope.
That was so. Shout out to Kristani for letting me do that because a lot of them have family overseas. So I told them about that, and there's over 50 tokens. There's over 50 tokens, but Bitcoin's the most popular. And then people talk about Dogecoin, but the thing about it is, I either hear people talk about the big, like ones we can't afford, or the ones that are kind of jokes. But the thing about it is, every single coin has a different function and a different purpose. And also, they can act as a savings accounts too, where they don't necessarily move in price, but they do give you a 7% interest rate weekly. Yes.
Wow.
So Sushi Swap is one of the coins on the list. I don't highly recommend it. I'm just saying that it is a coin. There's also Unicoin with this unicorn coin. And I think I just think it's cute to get the kids into learning about it, right? You want to learn. Okay, we'll talk about Sushi Coin and we'll talk about the unicorn one, and we'll talk about those. There used to be a Kanye coin, but it's gone.
Oh my god.
I know. But if it gets you into learning, then you can learn about the more serious ones, and then like get into Ethereum and all those types of things. But this is not investing advice.
Right.
I'm just saying that these things exist, and if anybody wants to learn about them, I do teach it on my other page for free.
Yes.
I teach these things for free. I keep telling people.
Taylor has great classes. I've taken a workshop or two.
During the Apple split.
Yeah.
Wow, that was like a year ago. During that Apple split, we were live.
Yeah, so thank you for providing that stuff.
Oh, you're welcome. Wow, I remember. I was on the laptop in my parents' living room, like using the good tray to teach you. Oh, wow, during the live Apple split, I remember that. They're doing okay as a company, but they're doing just fine. But yeah, I really appreciate you being here, and I heard you brought me some goodies. But you bring up for Hoodfairy. It's hoodfairy.co on Instagram, right?
That's correct.
Yep.
Hoodfairy.co. So we have.
Oh, I tore up your syrup.
Oh,
I tore that syrup up. Me and my friend were doing shots in the garage. I know that sounds wild.
I should have brought you the one with alcohol then. I brought you some more, but I brought you the non-alcohol.
Oh, thank you. I'm not allowed to have alcohol by law, but thank you so much.
No problem. So I did the right thing.
Yes, you did.
And then this one is our body butter. It's kind of the most famous product that we have. Everything's organic. I make it right at home. It's got shea butter. It's got mango butter. It's got black seed oil. It's got neem oil. So if you're dealing with any type of skin issues, it's really helpful.